What if, when one of Hollywood's most respected legends sits down for a simple interview and walks out instead? He's a man of few words, a symbol of old-school Hollywood grit. He's Harrison Ford, the face behind Indiana Jones, Han Solo, and a half-century of no-nonsense cinema. But what started as a typical press stop turned into a powder keg. Because this time, Harrison Ford wasn't promoting a blockbuster. He was speaking out about the culture, the division, and the performative outrage that now surrounds every conversation in America. Joy Behar, never one to back down, tried to press him into a corner. But Harrison, he's been through too many wars on screen and off to flinch. I don't do the performative stuff. I say what I think, and I don't care if it fits your segment. What followed was one of the most uncomfortable, unfiltered, and unforgettable moments ever broadcast on The View. And when Ford stood up, he wasn't just walking out, he was walking away from everything fake in modern media. The studio lights buzzed overhead. The crowd gave polite applause as the stage manager counted down with silent fingers. Everyone expected a standard segment, a few stories, some light laughs, a nod to nostalgia. But no one, not even the hosts, knew they were seconds away from one of the most unforgettable moments in The View's recent history. We're joined today, Whoopi said warmly, by a living legend, an actor who's defined generations of cinema. From Star Wars to Indiana Jones, he's here to talk about his latest project and maybe share a few memories along the way. Please welcome Harrison Ford. The applause spiked, but Ford's entrance was exactly what everyone expected. Cool, silent, no performative wave, no toothy grin, just a nod to the crowd and a firm handshake as he sat down at the end of the panel, beside Joy. Dressed in a plain navy shirt and worn jeans, Ford didn't look like Hollywood royalty. He looked like a man who didn't have time for nonsense, and that's exactly what The View was about to serve him. "It's good to have you here, Harrison," Sunny Hostin said. "You've had such a long, respected career. What's it like promoting a film in today's culture?" He leaned into the mic, voice gravelly and deliberate. "It's different. Everything's a minefield. You talk about a movie, and somehow you're dragged into a debate you didn't sign up for." Laughter from the crowd, nervous chuckles from the hosts. Joy smiled, but there was steel behind it. "Well, Harrison, if you're walking into a minefield, you've come to the right place," she quipped. "That's what I'm afraid of," Ford said dryly. More laughs. But something in the room changed. The tension didn't spike, it simmered. Joy shuffled her note cards, already preparing to pivot. Because she didn't want a movie promo, she wanted a moment. "So let's talk about that minefield," she said. "You've been around for decades, seen it all. Don't you think it's a good thing that Hollywood's evolving, that we're holding people accountable, that actors today have to think before they speak?" He paused, and then tilted his head. "Actors today spend more time trying not to get canceled than they do trying to tell the truth." Silence. Joy raised an eyebrow. "But don't you think some of that truth needs adjusting? I mean, things that were said in the 80s don't exactly fly today." Ford looked her dead in the eye. Truth doesn't change just because Twitter doesn't like it. The audience stirred. Even Whoopi looked up from her mug. Sarah shifted uncomfortably. Sunny bit her lip. Joy chuckled, but it was tight. "So are you saying accountability is a bad thing?" "No," Ford said. "I'm saying performative outrage isn't accountability. It's just the same egos playing dress-up. Now they wear causes instead of costumes." That landed like a bomb. And the moment was no longer about nostalgia or movie trivia. This was Harrison Ford versus the culture of modern Hollywood. And Joy Behar, She wasn't going to let that go unchallenged. Joy Behar leaned in, the glint in her eyes sharpening. She had seen guests get squirmy before, politicians, pop stars, even Oscar winners. But Harrison Ford was different. He wasn't squirming. He was settled, like a mountain that didn't care about the wind. "So, let me get this straight," Joy said, cards now untouched on the table. "You think people shouldn't be called out when they say offensive things?" Ford didn't even blink. "I think people should be judged on their intentions and their actions, not just a clumsy sentence pulled out of context from a podcast." The audience gave a small, startled ripple of applause. "And what about responsibility?" Joy pressed. "Don't public figures have a duty to reflect the values of the time?" Harrison's voice dropped to that low, steel-wrapped in gravel tone that made audiences hang on to every word. "Public figures aren't priests. We're actors, storytellers. We show you who people are, flaws and all. If you want someone perfect, talk to a cartoon." That landed. Whoopi gave a low chuckle, trying to diffuse, "Well, some of our viewers probably wish cartoons were running things right now." The audience laughed, but Joy wasn't smiling anymore. Easy to say when you've been protected by the system for decades. That stopped everything. Harrison turned toward her slowly. "Protected?" he repeated. Joy nodded. "You're Harrison Ford. You're not getting canceled. You're not losing roles for saying the wrong thing. You're safe. But other people, they don't have that luxury." He folded his arms across his chest. "I wasn't handed this career, Joy. I was a carpenter when I got started. I earned every role. I outlasted the trends, the politics, and the gatekeepers. You think I'm safe because I'm lucky? I'm here because I kept my head down and did the work." Applause again, louder this time. Joy shook her head. "But don't you think times have changed? That silence now equals complicity?" Ford raised a brow. "No, I think silence is sometimes the last refuge of honesty, because when everyone's yelling, the truth usually gets buried under whatever's trending." That was the quote. The kind of line that would headline across social media in under 10 minutes. Even Sunny Hostin blinked. That's one way to put it. Sarah Haynes tried to chime in lightheartedly. "Let's not forget Harrison's here for his film Iron Sky. It opens this weekend." But Joy wasn't done. "I'm just saying, when powerful people stay quiet during injustice, that silence is part of the problem." Ford leaned forward, voice steady. "I don't do hashtags. I don't do press-ready outrage. I donate. I show up. I work with vets, with conservationists, with kids who've never seen the inside of a movie theater. But I don't make a speech every time I do it. That doesn't make me part of the problem. That makes me part of the solution, the one no one wants to hear about because it isn't loud enough to trend." Now the audience erupted. Whoopi sat back. Sunny stared down at her hands. Joy stared forward, stunned into silence for the first time that segment. And Ford, still not smiling, still not shouting, just holding the line.